on Camtasia. All right, what's up, guys? We're just going to pass the mic around. So I'm Mitch. I got Daniel here and Karla. We all decided to get together. We're here in Taiwan, actually. We decided to get together at the end of the earth to teach you guys some cool stuff about starting a business or starting to make money online or in real life, and some of the problems that we have when starting, some of the fears. Because I think one of the biggest problems is we're afraid because we don't know which business to start, or which service to start, which niche to pick, just kind of what one thing to focus on. And that causes inaction, procrastination, worry. It gets built up into the head bigger than it is, and then you never execute. And so what I thought we'd do is we'd go around kind of one by one and talk about an example of a business or some money-making venture that we started that didn't require a ton of planning and a ton of research and kind of all of the excuses that we make to not getting something going. And those are the maids trying to clean our room. So I'll go first, actually. Your Chinese is on point.
Yeah, at least my Chinese is decent.
So I'll go first because I'm holding the mic. So there was a landscaping company that I wanted to start. Now I knew landscaping on a basic level because I did it as an employee. So because I did it as an employee for a year or whatever it was, I decided that I want to do it as a business a couple of years after. And so there's a couple things I didn't have. So I didn't have experience running a landscaping business. B, I didn't have a vehicle. C, I didn't have money. D, I didn't have employees. Wherever one, E, F. E and F, I didn't have clients or customers. I had nothing, literally nothing but an idea, and I knew that I had some skill to be able to do I knew I could rip out somebody's lawn, put a new one in. I knew I could, weed a garden. I knew that I could figure a lot of the stuff out. I seen it done. I could run a chainsaw. I could knock some tree branches down. So I knew I could do that stuff. That's all I had. That's literally all. So what I did, actually, it kind of was by accident. My landlord at the time of the place I was renting, he was like, "Hey, you can, if you want to just like weed my garden for a few hours, I'll give you some money off your rent." And I thought, okay, perfect, yeah, I could make a few bucks or whatever. So I did it, and it was really good. Like, he was really impressed by the job. So I took a picture of it, and he was impressed. He gave me the thing off work, and I was like, okay, there might be actually something here. So I said, okay, what I'm going to try to do. And see, I had copywriting skills. And for those of you who don't know copywriting is persuasion in words, just being able to persuade people in words. So I had been studying that stuff, which is why it's very important you guys study some of these types of skills, because they'll come in handy for no matter what you're doing. I was able to use the local classified websites. This was called Kijiji in Canada, and you can totally like write an ad for free in whatever category, and then people will call you if your ad is good. So as you can imagine, there's tons of landscaping ads there already. And so I just put out an ad that basically said something like, "Do you have to weed your garden, but the thought of it drives you crazy? Let me take care of what you're putting off," or something like that. That was like the headline. And it basically said, "I will clean your yard, weed your," because it was like spring, so people needed their yards cleaned after winter and all that. I said, I'll clean your yard," and it was like $200. It was like a really good deal, something really low, actually, like kind of too low. But I got calls, and I'd come over, and they'd be these disaster yards, and I would do it for like a couple $100. What I was doing, see, a lot of people, when they're doing, like, whether you're doing Upwork, whether you're doing client services, whatever you're doing, some sort of service, most people devalue themselves and they charge too low. Now, you can charge low at the beginning only if you have a specific strategy to get out of that, or it's for a reason. So I charge low for two reasons. One, I was buying myself before and after pictures of the property I was working on. So I was buying myself proof and credibility. So that was huge. And so it was worth it to me to take the hit so that I could do such a good job that I could take a picture of it and I could use that in the ads again to get even more calls. So I would do that, and I would do like 2 or 3 of those, and I got super good before and afters, fucking Photoshopped the shit out of them, made them look really good. And then all of a sudden the next ad is a picture of a before and after and says, does your yard look like this? It can look like that, right? And it's like, and then so the ads get better with more proof, especially when you get a review from the person you did it for, who's like, wow, it was amazing. Then you get the testimonial. So I was charging really low, not to get the experience, because I knew I could do a good job. That's not why you charge low. You charge low if you just to get the testimonial and the before and after, the case study. And the second thing that I was doing is I was upselling them on other stuff. So you can charge low if you know that you're going to charge them for more later on. So those are the reasons I charge low. And then so I started doing that, the jobs got bigger. It's like, okay, can you do this? And then can you take these trees to the dump or something? It's like, fuck, like how am I going to take it to the dump? I don't have a vehicle. So I'd get my friend, I'd be like, hey dude, I'll give you $50 if you help me out for like 2 hours. And he'd bring his car and we'd like shove stuff in his car. We put a lawnmower in the back seat of his car. But we were too embarrassed to actually like show the client that we did that. So we would park a block down, take the lawnmower and the stuff out, and then wheel it down the block, and then do the stuff, and then sneak it around the corner and put it back in the car. So we would do that, except my one friend wasn't available all the time. So I would have to find people who had cars, and I would employ them for a few hours. I remember I was like seeing this one girl, and I was like, please, can I use your car? And so I paid her $30, and she just like weeded like the garden while I like I still have a picture, just shoved her car full with like supplies, like jerry cans of gas and lawnmowers, and just like packed the car full. Anyway, it would go like this, and I just kept doing it. I remember I had to do a big job where I'd like literally remove someone's entire lawn and then put gravel there and do like this huge thing, put a shed down, like this big like job where you need like a truck. So what I did was I ended up getting the gravel rented from some company, and they would drop it off. And then I rented a Bobcat for the day, so I had them drop it off. And then I rented a U-Haul because I couldn't afford a vehicle, but I could rent a U-Haul for the day. And I would put the garbage in the U-Haul and drive it to the dump and then shovel it out. And so I was like, you just use what you got and what you can. I hired a few friends from the restaurant for the day to help out with labor for that. And I had my grandfather drive me in the morning to the job site. He just dropped me off there, and then they dropped the Bobcat, and then the U-Haul. It was like crazy. So you're never, when you're starting a business, you're never out of resources. It's all around you. It's just how creative are you willing to be? Are you willing to put the lawnmower in the back seat, right? And it got to the point where then I met Macaulay, my current business partner. He got a truck, and then he became business partner. Then we started doing that, and then we built this company up to a real company doing huge landscaping jobs and employees, all this shit. So like, my point is that, are you willing to put the lawnmower in the back seat just to get the lawnmower done? You know, because someone will be like, I don't have a lawnmower. It's like, someone you know does. Everyone has a fucking lawnmower. They'll let you use it. You can give them a few bucks, or a lot of people let you use it for free. And so that's an example of, and because that company we built up to around $30,000 a month, and we had endless jobs. And we would still do the weeding jobs, but then right after, I would immediately just sell them on a big $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 job after that. Like, yeah, your garden looks good weeded, but man, you need this rock garden and this wood chips, and you need this waterfall here. It's like, just look how good your neighbor's lawn looks compared to yours, man. Come on, like, so.
Salesmanship.
Yeah, salesmanship. So it's like, it's truly important that when you're starting something, it's an adventure to like. Everyone's so scared to like, I gotta do this, I gotta register. And I didn't register the business. I didn't get a business bank account. I didn't do all that stuff till after it was making money. Everyone wants to do all this like stuff that you think you need to do to get official before you start a business, but that's all creative distraction. It's bullshit.
Forget about it. You don't need it.
It's creative bullshit. So once you make money and the business is actually real, then you can get it set up. You know, the police aren't going to come and shut you down. It's all just excuses for getting started. So that's my little story about that, and how you truly don't need anything to get started except creativity and your will to get going. What about you?
Okay, so if you don't know me, I'm Daniel. So 2 years ago, I was traveling. I was 19, high school dropout, not a qualification in sight, just my own knowledge acquired through Google and interest. Canadian dollar crashed. My travels became 30% more expensive. I was in a country, Taiwan, that was more expensive than I could handle, and I ended up broke as hell. So I had no interest in online business. I had no clue. I didn't have guys like Mitch or people like Karla who were doing cool things on my Facebook. I didn't know it was an option. So I end up at this hostel, and there's my mentor, this French guy, Yves, and he's making $85 hourly and closing low and mid four-figure jobs doing engineering, freelance engineering. And I'm like, that's cool. You're an engineer. You can do that. He tells me, screw you. Has nothing to do with being an engineer. You can do it too. Come, I teach you tomorrow. So I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? I'm a high school dropout. Who's going to pay me for anything? He's just like, choose a skill. We sell it tomorrow.
$85 an hour is insane too.
Well, now he's actually doing 300-400. Yeah. So, that was just the beginning. He's doing amazing things. And so it was complete fluke. I fell upon it. I choose to do fitness blogging because I had a background in health and fitness, and I was interested in powerlifting, and it was an interest. It was something I was passionate about. So I set up a profile on Upwork. He teaches me the ways of the land, professional photo, all those things. We'll go over that later. And I set up the profile, and 3 weeks later, sending out proposals, I get my first gig. It's for an MLM, blogging, and I do $15 an hour. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I can make a little bit of money. He's like, okay, raise your rate $10 now, $25 an hour. I'm like, what the? Who's going to hire me? I have no qualifications. I have nothing. It's just like, do it. And every time I got a good review, every time I closed the job, he tells me, raise my rate, $25 an hour. 4 months later, I was getting paid $70 an hour, closed my first few $1,000 gigs, and I finally had a consistent income. At this point, and this comes with like, it doesn't matter what your skill is, there's always something to sell. My service evolved 3-4 times by that point. At first, I was doing fitness blogging. Then it hit a point where I was too expensive for the clients. So then I evolved into helping them formulate supplements to be effective. Hit a point where I was too expensive for that. Then I evolved into medical writing. I got too expensive. I was charging more than the doctors. So I'm like, okay, I've hit a roof here. What am I going to do? I can't charge anymore. He says, just find a way to provide more value to the clients. Try copywriting. At this point, I thought copywriting was just copying things down on a page. I had no clue. Yeah, I thought it was like plagiarizing without getting caught by Google. I spent a few months learning copywriting, broke as hell because I'm learning an absolutely new service and have no idea how to sell it or how to show I know what I'm doing. And then eventually after that rough 4 months, I get my first few gigs, continue raising my rate. Before I knew I was charging $130 to $150 an hour, and then it just kept growing beyond that, where I just skipped the hourly rate and focused on selling based on value. So now that hourly rate is my minimum. No matter what, I better be making at least $130 for every hour I work.
Internal calculation too.
Exactly.
Like you charge a flat fee, but you can kind of backtrack and see how much you'll make an hour.
Exactly. The big thing with the hourly rate is I have a business that's very based on Upwork. The people who I teach, it's very based on Upwork, and that hourly rate is there. But the key is that hourly rate has to be a minimum. You'll have people there where it says their hourly rate is 60, 70, 100, and they're charging like $10 an hour, $5 an hour. That doesn't do anything good for your positioning. That makes you look like a joke. But me, I've actually got hourly jobs there that are charging more than my hourly rate by $10. You know, that is the bare minimum for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I grew it from there. It evolved into strategy and copywriting and marketing for the health and fitness businesses. And yeah, that's my story. I had no intention of getting into it. I have no qualifications. I'm an idiot. You guys can do it. I'm sure there's 100 people watching this that are more intelligent than I am, who have the skills and the creativity. It's just the power of broke and a little bit of guidance and information that got me to do this.
You got paid to learn.
I got paid to learn.
You were willing to do it and look stupid.
Yes, exactly. And that's the big thing I want to emphasize on, is the paid to learn. These skills, no matter what, if your service businesses fail, you have these skills that will help you for the rest of your life. If I go and be employed, I have to go do a phone sales job, which obviously isn't pleasant, I know I can kick their asses out of the water. I know I have those skills. The same with the copywriting, the persuasion. I know I can kill any resume better than most people because they don't know the attention, the interest.
Stick a dollar bill on the top of it.
Exactly. I'll do a Gary Halbert dollar bill resume. Yeah. So just, don't let the fear stop you. You're learning a skill and being paid for it. And these skills, even if it fails, which honestly, if you're persistent, it won't fail. You're fine. You're good for life. You're set.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Learn skills. Not be afraid to learn skills.
Exactly.
What about you?
Karla?
Hi guys, this is Karla, and this year I started an Instagram-based jewelry shop. So I would just like to share how that happened, because it also was just like an accident too. But it has become a very profitable business. I flip jewelries for up to 4 times their value now, and I started this without any technical know-how about like diamonds or gold or whatever, but it's very easy to learn for me because it was I'm really interested in it. So this year was one of my best years ever in business. So I like rewarded myself with jewelry. So I was just like shopping jewelry, and then I realized that it was becoming a vice, and it was, I've had like more jewelry than I want or something. So I was impulse buying, and it's easy to do that when you have something that you really like. For some girls, it's like purses or clothes, or for guys, it can also be jewelry or watches or something like that, or even cars or whatever. So if you have something you like that you you really you like buying and you like collecting, you can actually turn that into a business. So that's what happened to me. I'm like, I need to sell some of these stuff, because I also got bored with some of the pieces that I have. But I remember that feeling of seeing them in a store the first time, and like seeing the light reflect on the diamond, and it was like a magical moment for me. And I'm like, of course I can't be alone in this. Other people experience this too. So I started by selling engagement rings, just so I can like niche down. And then I ran some Facebook ads, and I marketed it to guys who were in the market to buy engagement rings. And I only sold rings which are really affordable, like less than $2,000. So I can sell them easily. I started with like cheap pieces, and then I think I sold like 3 rings, and then that's how I got really motivated to keep picking pieces and making it into a real business. So after I ran the ads, I posted some of the jewelry pieces on my personal site, and because most of my following are women, and they're also like middle class entrepreneurs and stuff, something like that. But I still sold some of the cheap items, cheap pieces, cheaper than stores, cheaper than mall shops. So I realized that like 70% of my customers are actually female. So they wanted to buy these jewelry items to reward themselves as well. And I'm like, why did I see that? That was me like a few months ago. So I just focused on selling it to girls, and so I opened an Instagram shop. So this is how it looks like. So I don't know if you can see it,
no,
but but it's just it's running on Instagram now, and we offer nationwide shipping. So basically, if you have any hobby right now where you are a part of the market, then you have a very good place to start with. Especially if these items have value. So of course they have value to you because you buy them. It's you get something out of it. There are other people who are like you know that, and you know these people, and these people are very likely to be in your circle too. So it's very, very easy to get started. So the funny thing is, because I knew that it would sell, because I also buy them, something like this, or turning a hobby into a business, literally eliminates most of the fears. You don't have to start with a huge capital. You can just start with whatever you're collecting, 10 pieces or 20 pieces,
You already understand the market.
And you already understand the market. The technicalities, you don't have to be intimidated by it, because even now I know I know the different kinds of gold and how much the normal price per gram is. But really, these things are just they're just extra. Most people who buy jewelry buy it because it's pretty. They buy it because when they see the item, they already imagine themselves wearing it. They already imagine this particular party that they want to go to, and they wear this pair of earrings, and they look so nice, and they get admiration from their friends. So don't get distracted by the technicalities and the small things, and just sell the thing by how it was sold to you. So I think that's one of the biggest learnings that I got. And then the other thing is you have to just perfect your delivery system, your payment and delivery system. And, it's just that. It was really easy.
Just don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, don't overcomplicate it, and just start it. And what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is probably, what if there's no one who will buy it? Well, you still have it. It's your hobby anyway. So, and if it's something that will not lose its value, it's not perishable, then it's easier to just keep testing until you sell it.
And you'll know it sells because is it selling already? Like it's not fucking rocket science. People are like, I don't know, should I do this business? It's like, I don't know, is there people already selling it? Like one person wanted to be, I want to be a coach for millennials, a life coach for millennials. I'm like, okay, are people buying that now? Because if they're not, then it's pretty fucking risky. But it's like, are people buying jewelry? Every damn day. Yes. So it's not risky. It's just a self-belief to think, well, what right do I have to sell jewelry? Well, what right does anyone have to sell jewelry? The fact that you're alive and sell, like, will people buy it? Yeah, because you're selling it. If it's something people buy, right? It's like, and that brings us to a couple points too. It's like people aren't exactly sure, like, which niche should I choose, or what product or service should I go for? It's like, you just go for one that is already selling, A, and B, where you can easily reach these people. If it's too expensive to reach them, it doesn't make sense to do it. For example, if I want to sell, because it's always about helping somebody. So you're going to do service. I want to help internet marketers. Well, that's easy. They're everywhere. They're in Facebook groups. They make themselves known in a community, right? If you want to sell stuff to motorcycle lovers, there's clubs and communities, locally, physically, online. They're come together, so it's easy to get to them. Well, an example of a service or someone you want to help that is not easy to get to is people who are going bankrupt. They're not sitting in circles, right? They're not sitting in support groups. They're fucking silent until someone takes their house. They may respond to ads, but you know how expensive those why those ads are on TV.
It's not how you get started.
Yeah, you know how expensive that is to get to them? Yeah. So they're not easy to get to. So that's an example of not easy to get to. So alleviate your fears of what do I choose to do and just go for what's already selling. Don't try to, the biggest thing people try to do is I need to invent something or I need to do something completely different. No, you don't. Take, for example, the music industry. You try to do something nobody's ever done. You write a song. Will anyone give a shit about it? You got a guy like Ed Sheeran. You write a hit. He writes a hit song that sounds like the rest of his hit songs. It sounds like every other fucking hit song of an indie track that's ever existed because you do what works and what sells. If Ed Sheeran tries to do something that invents something completely crazy and new, just because he feels he has to, no one's going to listen to it or care because there's a formula for a hit song. Well, there's a formula for what people already buy and have mass desire. So if you go for what's already selling and don't try to reinvent the wheel, because you don't have to. People, it's like, I had this talk with someone in my family. It's like people truly who don't know anything about business and are scared about it, they think they have to invent something. Because they think that if someone's already offering it, they can't possibly offer it. But that's the perfect reason to offer it, because it's already selling. There's 7 billion people on Earth. She's selling jewelry. Well, so is De Beers, so is fucking Tiffany. All these Circos, all these people are selling. So why are people buying from her? Simply because she put the offer out in front of someone's face. Someone thinks it's cool, and then they want to buy it. Yeah. Right? It's like, and she said, don't need to know the technicalities. Of course you don't, because nobody's buying a ring based on the technicalities. They're buying it on emotion. People always buy on emotion. Those are the benefits. The benefits are you looking sexy at a party, right? The feature is that it's 14 karat gold. Well, the people buying it don't even know what fucking carat means. They don't know if 12 carats is more than 30 carats. They don't know what is more is less or is less is more. I don't know. So that's one thing. The next thing would be if you want to. If you want to get started, who can you, like you said you had Eves, he helped you.
Yeah.
And then like who can you get on your side that can help you, because you need somebody to lean on. When I was doing the landscaping thing, I started it myself, but I couldn't do it without my friends helping me. I couldn't do it without Macaulay coming in once I started getting busy and bailing me out with the truck and actually helping and stuff like that. I couldn't. The very first little landscaping thing I did, I couldn't do it without my landlord saying, hey, that was really good that you did for us. I think you should do this for other people. And he like kind of leaned on me to do that. So if you don't have support, then you need to find it. You need to find somebody who can be your business partner, or somebody that can be your helper, somebody who can get bought into what you're doing, and they can be there too. Because if you're just doing it alone, you'll make these excuses and rationalizations and you won't do shit. So I think that's absolutely huge. You need to get somebody, get a friend on your side. But if your friend's not business minded, but he's cool and he's going to hang out with you and he's passionate, that's cool. Don't make him a 50-50 business partner, because then you're going to get mad at him and you're going to get frustrated because he's not pulling his weight and he's not as entrepreneurial as you, and then you're going to use that as an excuse and blame him, and then you won't ever do anything, and you'll say, oh, it didn't work because of this. No, it didn't work because you fucking were a pussy about it.
Yeah.
You made it. You blamed him. So if you're going to bring somebody on and they're not as good as you as far as the mind goes for entrepreneurial, then do not make them 50-50. Don't feel you have to. Just have them on as a fucking helper, and they're more happy to hang around and get paid and stuff like that too.
Right.
And that's a two-way street too. It's not just about having good people around you, it's also the negative people around you. This is a big thing, a lot of family is going to be constantly chipping away, so you can't do it. Friends, same thing. They're going to, it's inevitable. There's going to be condescension. Most of my family and friends have no idea what I'm doing. And that's fine. If they say, oh, I hear you're a big business guy now, I say, yeah, whatever. Let's just talk about something else. It's nothing good is coming of this. When you're building it up, you just have to tune that out. Distance yourself from those people for a while until you've at least seen the money, you've seen a little bit of the success, you've had a taste of it. Whether it's that first ring being sold or your first freelance gig, whatever. Just really never underestimate how much effect these people and their negativity will have on you. You'll still love them, they'll still be family, they'll still be friends, but there's just a time when you need to distance yourself.
I find you can't, I personally, as strong as I mentally am, I had to remove myself from the environment.
Yeah.
There's no way to just make it work. It's like, if you're trying to get thin and there's a house full of fat people eating ice cream around you, good luck sitting there with your celery. You can do it for 1, 2, 3 days. Sooner or later, you're going to cave in. It's just, you can't. You are a product of your environment. I don't care who you are, unless you're one of those crazy motherfuckers like Hitler or some shit, where it's like one dude can just he's that strong. One dude can just move people. So unless you're that person, you're definitely not watching this video. Then you are a product of your environment, and you need to remove yourself and put yourself in an environment which you would do, which is difficult to do. People don't want to do it. They're like, oh, but my family, but my friends, but oh, this and that, and it's like you either want success or you don't.
I'd like to give an example, actually. I have a friend here, so I've helped quite a few people with their freelancing. It started out just friends because I was passionate about them. I want to help them achieve the freedom, achieve the lifestyle. He was interested in it. He did put effort and initiative into it. He's not necessarily the most business-oriented guy, and he was persistent, but what got him to give up was his parents in particular were just nailing away at him, and he was talking with them. He was traveling, but he was talking with them 2-3 times a week. It got to the point where even after he stopped doing the business stuff, it was just messing with him mentally. They wouldn't support anything. It got to the point where he had to cut them off, talk with them every other week or once a week, which even I think is too much. But now, a year after he gave up, now one of my students is training him, having him as a freelance intern, and now he's doing it. He just got his first few gigs outsourced from my my other student, and he's doing well. And the common denominator is before he had his parents there just chipping away at him, and now he doesn't.
Because we already have voices in our heads, our own heads, chipping away at ourselves. It's that negative self-talk. The last thing we need is actual people we talk to ourselves like shit enough. and think about this. If we talk the way we talk to ourselves in our head, if our friends or family talk to us the way we talk to ourselves in our heads, they'd be punched in the face. Yet somehow we accept it from our own heads. So be very careful of the talk that you give yourself in your head. Is there anything else that we should talk about as far as the process of starting up?
Maybe we should go into the actual step-by-steps or different options.
Okay. If you're going to start a physical service business, and I'm not talking about where you need a store, I'm talking about if you're going to do some sort of service, whether it's landscaping, whether it's going to someone's house and fixing their plumbing, whatever it is.
In your area.
Yeah, in your physical area. Then, and you know that you already have the skill, or you've done a job with it or something, so you know that you can do it. Then the process is very simple. The process is you're going to you need phone calls, you need jobs. So you're going to simply use the free stuff available to you. So you're going to use the free online classified ads, and you're going to you're going to learn the skill of copywriting. You don't need to learn it to fucking master level. You just need to learn it good enough that you can make an attention-getting headline. Because if nobody clicks on that classified ad, then it's of zero value to you. What I would do is I would use a headline. Because most people are like, for example, of landscaping, they'd be like, landscaping services, good quality landscaping services. Well, that's what everyone's doing. So you see all the headlines, and you just have to make something different. So I would say something like, don't even think about hiring a landscaper until you read this. Something curious like that.
And that goes for anything, any headline, any service.
Intense curiosity. You can even do something like the best landscaping job you've ever had, or I pay you for it, or something, or I buy you a puppy, or
Shock factor.
Anything, So it's the attention, the curiosity, gets somebody to click it, and then inside you go for the phone call. So you're going to use the free online classified sites, and you're also going to take that same ad and you're going to print it out, and you're going to stick it in places. So at all the grocery stores, you're going to stick it up on the little billboards there, because everyone reads those things for sale and all of that.
Yeah.
You're going to stick it up in places like that. You're going to do also what I did. You're going to take yellow corrugated board, kind of like where you see those house for sale signs that people make and stuff like that.
Like on the lawns?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna take that, and you're gonna buy picket. You go to Home Depot and you pick up the little pickets, and then you take the paper and you tape it on there and all that, and you write, it'll be like the thing will be like, what did we put on there? I don't know. I forget what it was, but you use copy, and you put something for the landscaping on there, and then you drive those pickets into the different corners of the stoplights where people are stopped at all around the city. Get a bunch, because people will tear them out, or the city will take them, but you'll have to. That works too. So you're going to use creative free ways. We also went in mall parking lots with flyers, and you just stick them under everybody's windshield wiper, and you just paper all the cars. You get mean calls, but you also make a lot of money. So who cares about the people who get pissed off? Doesn't matter.
Those pissed off people would never be your customers.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and it's not like you did anything. It's not like they make it sound like you killed their child or something, but it's just a fucking piece of paper.
They have nothing better to complain about.
So and we also when we really wanted to get jobs, we would put flyers. We'd walk up and down and put flyers in the mailboxes. A lot of people don't have mailboxes anymore, but if you still have mailboxes, you can walk up and put them in the door slot where people have their open their door. But the trick is to do all of these things at once. Don't be fucking lazy. Because I had people I had two dudes who started a landscaping company, and they did it successfully. But I had another dude who tried to do it, and he delivered 50 flyers once and then gave up. It's like, well, you didn't do any of these things. I said, do this, and the ad, and this. Oh, it's like, and then he did it once and then gave up, did it for one day. It's like, no, you don't do it for one day. You do it until. If you decide to do something, don't do it for a day and then give up. That's not deciding to do it. That's being a little bitch. Just do it until you get a phone call. Because you get your first job, then you get your first job. You start doing your first job, especially if I'm saying landscaping now. You do your first job. Other people in the neighborhood see you doing that job. They ask what you're doing. You get to work with them. And then those person gives you a referral to their uncle. And then your fucking one job can send you on your whole way.
Yes.
And send you going. And that's literally how you start. And if you don't have supplies of what you're doing, you rent them. Okay, how many tools we've rented from Home Depot for the day? You rent them. If you don't have a vehicle, rent your friend that has a vehicle. I'll buy you lunch and give you a few bucks. You can just sit in your truck all day and fucking be on your phone. I'll do all the work.
Like when I was a little kid, I was doing snow shoveling. I just asked every person on my street if they had a shovel I could borrow. After 10 houses, one person who I'd met like 3 times, they lent me the snow shovel for like a week.
Right.
Yeah, like I was charging $1 per house or something. I was like 8. But just, you know, you don't be surprised. You might have like a grandfather or something, uncles. Somebody has the equipment you need, even if you want to do just like lawn mowing or something.
Yeah.
There's always someone who has something you need.
Most people are lazy. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Like they say, no, but laziness comes from fear. No, laziness is just fucking laziness a lot of times. People are lazy. They'd rather just sit inside, watch TV, watch a Frank Kern video, and pretend that they're making progress in their life.
Watch Tony Robbins.
Inspiration is cool. Implementation is cooler.
So now, did you? Because that's about it for that kind of business. I mean, you just literally you creatively rent, do stuff, and then just get the phone calls. You get the job. Once you get the job, someone's like, "Yeah, I'll pay you money for this." You'll find a fucking way to get the lawnmower. You know, you'll find a way to get a lawnmower. When you started the jewelry business, did you sell any first, or did you buy the rings first?
So some items are part of my collection already, but I was bored with them, so I sold them first, and I called it a collection. So I had like an October collection and a November collection and a Christmas collection, just so I send the message that every month is going to be different, and also subtly that every month we sell out everything. So by the last week of every month, we do like a clearance sale. So it's very important to put scarcity if you're selling something physically. So you have to check your inventory, and you have to make sure that everything moves in your inventory. So you have to do your best to sell everything. So if you promoted something on Instagram at this particular set of friends, and then it doesn't sell, or you sold 3 items, but you still have this 7 other items. Let's say you sell 10 things every month for your first few months, and then you have to sell the other 7 in a different set of people, or maybe you can try Facebook groups, or you can even chat up your friends and offer them layaway. So when you're starting offering something physical, it's good if it's non-perishable, so there's not so much pressure to sell it. But of course there's pressure because you want to make money, but you know, you won't lose if you don't sell it after a month. So the ideal situation for me in my business was that I sell it within a month, and then if it didn't sell, I'm going to include it in the clearance sale, where there's like a 10% discount for all the items, and then include intense scarcity. Like this sale is only for 72 hours only. So, and then you can also hit
Scott Alford.
You can also hit your friends up, and you can offer them a layaway plan, an installment plan, whatever. So if you're selling something physical, once again, you have to make sure your inventory is moving, and then you have to chart what kinds of items are moving faster than the others. So I realized that the rings are really move the fastest, and the necklaces move the slowest. So I get to change up what I shop for next time. So now I'm just gonna shop for more rings and not shop for necklaces. Maybe some earrings, bracelets. I don't sell them at all right now because they're really hard to sell. Personally, I also have very few bracelets, so you know, I buy very few of those. So I think that's just it. Just make sure your inventory is moving, and then chart your profit as well. And it's also good to pick items where the price is very, you know, has a huge range. So I pick diamonds and gold. We only sell items with diamonds and gold because diamonds have value that is very, there's a huge range for the value of diamonds, you know. So there's diamonds that you can sell for under $500, and there's diamonds that you can sell for $5,000. So I have a huge window, and I can actually literally make 4 times or 3 times the actual value of what I bought it for. So pick an item that has is very elastic, let's say, in terms of price, because you have more wiggle room, and
that's why service is good too.
Yeah, that's why service is good.
Watches also.
Yeah, that too. So, and if it's an item like jewelry where the value increases even if you don't sell it, because, you know, of course the value of gold will always increase unless, you know, it suddenly rains gold, and gold is everywhere. So that's also a good item to push. Other items that I would recommend would probably be some unique collectibles, maybe porcelain or something like that. Or designer eyewear could also be good as long as you take good care of them. Watches, yes, can also be good. You can even buy these valuable stuff at pawn shops or pawn shops near casinos. So you can sell, you can see a lot of cheap stuff, cheap
Very
valuable
smart.
stuff. Yeah, I used to hang out at pawn shops near casinos, so you can find it. You can find a lot of valuable stuff there. I once bought a Cartier lighter at a pawn shop near a casino for $50, and I was able to sell it at a friend for $300 like after a week. So that's 6 times, and I did nothing. So yeah.
And then people are wondering, like, how do you know what sells? Like, how do you know it's going to sell? You go ask the jewelry store. You go to 20 jewelry stores and say, just like just a chat, like looking around, and be like, so what's your best seller for this ring? Like, what's your best selling ring? And go to 20 of them, you'll see a fucking pattern.
Yes.
Smart.
You know? And then you don't have to sell that exact ring, but that style or whatever obviously sells. Like, so what about getting started step by step if someone wants to get started on like Upwork, freelancing, some sort of virtual skill, but they don't have the virtual skill yet?
Well, again, that's the beauty of being paid to learn. For example, there was someone in the same mastermind group as Eves. I remember when I was just getting started, he just picked video editing randomly out of nowhere, and he spent 2 weeks going through YouTube videos and learning it. And then 1 month later, $5,000 job closed. His mastermind group was very sales oriented. So the big thing is, that is a big skill for freelancing, salesmanship, both in writing and verbally. You want to get on the phone with these people because that's how you turn a job where they're only planning on spending $100 into a job where it's $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. That's where you can put multiple offers in front of them, and everyone wants the premium offer. Just put the word there, Karla says,
Premium,
Yeah, premium looks good. What I would do is I'd have a few ideas for niches, and you really do want to niche down. For example, the reason I ended up fitness blogging is because Eves had me look at the jobs, like post a job myself and see who was applying. And everyone was just generic writer, generic blogger. I knew if I'm going and applying as a fitness blogger, I'm the only one doing it. There's maybe one other person. It's a lot less of a competition now. So just some ideas for niches that are really easy to get into, very, you can learn them very quickly and just start selling them. Video editing, different types of writing. You can specialize in like case studies are really valuable. Press releases you can actually learn quite easily. Niche writing like fitness writing or beauty. Yeah, beauty's a big one on Upwork. And the other thing is, don't just pick it because you want it. Make sure there's demand. Go on the site, search a few times. My general rule is there has to be at least 30 jobs being posted a week. And Upwork has a lot of jobs being posted by a lot of big companies. Yeah. So when you're there, just make a profile. Don't be lazy with it. And it is really hard to get approved now on Upwork. They've made it very strict. Just be persistent. If you're in the freelance group, there's a video me and Martin did about getting approved if you keep getting denied. It's easier than you might think. Once you have the profile there, make sure you've got a really good professional photo. Make sure that everything is complete. Have a great portfolio. Use every last bit of that cover letter. Make it into a sales letter. Every sentence you read, say, "So what? Who cares? Make me feel important about myself." Because everyone in their profile is just talking about meaningless stuff. Oh, I've been doing this and this for 6 years. I live here and here. That means nothing to them. Talk about their problems. Get into the mind of your client. And then the other thing is just consistency. Send out 30 proposals a week at least to start, and keep doing that. It could take a month to get started, But once you get that first review there, once you start getting more comfortable getting people on the phone, it's just amazing. I had a student here. He got his first job. It was terrible, charging way too little. He wasn't listening to a lot of my advice, but that first little bit of money drove him, and now I've just seen him for the first time in 7-8 months, and he's closing $3,000 jobs. He's doing amazingly, and it's just, once you see that money, once you get a taste of it, you can do it. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but you have the faith, you have the knowledge, you have the confidence.
You can instantly travel the world. As soon as you get a couple jobs and they start coming in, you could literally just pick up and travel the world.
Exactly.
You do that. You can go to Turkey tomorrow and sit there and fucking sit with a hookah and your laptop, and you could make money and travel the world.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know people who are doing that because of the freelancing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It literally changed. What you want to do is uncouple your location from how you make money. If you want to travel. If you want to travel, that's the way to do it. You uncouple where you have to be. You can be home, but you don't have to be.
You have the choice.
You have the choice. That's why, like, say with Karla's, like the jewelry business, it's like she technically doesn't have to be there. She can meet the people, she can do this and do that, but she can have the jewelry, she can have it shipped to her wherever she is, she can have it shipped to one of her employees in her city, and then that person can mail it out. It can all be done virtual, even though there's a physical aspect to it. She doesn't have to be, she's here right now, she doesn't have to be in one place. So hopefully that gives you guys some motivation, inspiration, and some clarity on how easy it really is to get started, and that anytime that you're thinking, see, the whole I don't know if I should do this niche or this product or this service. Anytime you're doing that, you're not actually doing what you think you're doing. You think you're being smart and like comparing choices and really trying to like figure out the best thing to do, but what you're actually doing is it's just a creative way to make excuses for not getting started and changing your life. So yeah, let's rock off, and then we'll do a separate one for positioning and stuff for your people.
Yeah.
So if my people are seeing this, you don't get it.
Or join the group.
Or join the group.